Hey, Dr. Lou. Hey, John. How you guys doing?
Doing great.
Doing good.
Awesome. So from the first season, you two were two of my teachers that I mentioned, two of my very exalted teachers. So now I get to introduce you guys. It's super exciting. So Dr. Lou has like an amazing story. Her mother is a cardiologist and her grandmother was a traditional Chinese medicine doctor. So she grew up hearing them argue and hearing the holistic side and then the allopathic side. And she went on to get an MD and then also a PhD in physiology, which means she understands what's going on in the cells and did research in that. Also, she's highly trained in genetics, and her own journey of health and trying to live a good life led her down so many different roads and trying to get to the root cause of disease for herself and her patients. And and what's so great about her is there's like this $250 industry of supplements and all types of things. 1 minute it's this, 1 minute it's that. But Dr. Lou can, because of her background, can sort through all of that and know what's working and what's not going to work and what's a scam. So she's helped me and so many other people enjoy their life, even though we're living in this very highly toxic environment. So yeah, so now that's Dr. Lou.
Yeah, this is
Thank
going to be
you,
amazing.
Jason.
Yeah, this is going to be amazing because there's so many people who have heard about Dr. Lou from season one and have been wanting to meet her. So I'm excited that everybody will get to meet her in this episode. So this is great.
Thank you. Thank you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So Dr. Lou, what is to you, what is living a blissful life? What's your ideal life?
This has been actually more and more difficult. In the past, I thought I would just travel the world and share with people about environmental toxins and how they affect our body. And I thought that was it. That's my vision. And I like to live a simple life and provide as much information as I can and inspire people to make a change. So in the recent years, I noticed continuously people don't want to address the root cause. Because we all focus on the emergency, and unfortunately, we are having more and more of that, right? We're having somebody suddenly have a stroke, somebody suddenly diagnosis of Parkinson's, and then of course, the conventional medicine has made a huge advancement in diagnosing more complex diseases. And the same thing with holistic. We're now having Lyme disease, mold. We're having more and more of those diagnoses as well. So both fields are, putting out fires, and there's more and more fire. So to have people take a breath, just say, look, maybe we need to find out why. That is very hard. So that I just want to share with you. So we
Thank
are
you.
kind of thinking to form a detox to thrive as a community. And this community is going to be simple things, and have people have transformational changes, sometimes immediately. So we are able to focus on putting off the fire, at the same time teaching them about the cause.
So would you say like your blissful life is like being in a healthy community where people, and you're getting to provide your gift of health to people around you?
Yes. So the blissful part, not everybody like that. Some people just live in the woods and they're blissful already. So this is what I learned. Is there 6 basic human needs: certainty, variety, significance, growth, love, connections, and service. And we all have that, right? But for each individual, 2 of them at certain time of your life absolutely drive you. So if you find out that 2 out of 6 needs that drive your life, then you're no longer confused, right? you're no longer like, today I'm just going to be in the woods and be happy, but I'm not happy today. And then tomorrow I'm going to do something else. You have to figure out that two needs. Once you figure it out, you design your life to fulfill those two needs. So for me, after personal challenge with cancer and going through all these confusing period of my time, I find out I really need to grow, not only in my knowledge, but also my spiritual, emotional life. And the other thing is love and connection. I don't think I can live happily in a mansion with many cars and whatever thing by myself. So I want you to know I would rather live poor, not poor, like simple life, but sharing it with a lot of people. And then that's really that's my needs, right? When it comes down to selfishness, love and connection and growth are very, very important to me. So if I can fulfill those two needs, I'm living in bliss.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much. He's laughing.
Well, I'm laughing. You know why I'm laughing, Jason, right? Because that was an administrator teacher answer all the way through. That was an amazing answer. That was great. That was spectacular.
So you think she's an administrative teacher like you?
Absolutely. The connection with the group and the getting to the why. That was amazing. That is an amazing answer.
All right.
Thank
you guys are going to get along.
I can't wait for we're already there. I'm in love already. So this is great.
Thank you.
Dr. Lou, what's your advice for everybody? Like, what's a strategy that people can do to live a more blissful life?
Yes. So I think right now we are affected and we are reacting to what's going on outside of ourselves. That is very difficult to block our bliss, right? Because the bliss is really life on purpose. You live your life on your purpose. Not everybody have the same purpose. I always tell people, because sometimes we want to have our purpose, on their purpose. I think that the first step is to find your purpose and then try to not to be associated with the noise outside. And once in a while, somebody will say, look at this tragedy. And Dr. Lou, how come you don't know this person? And I will, somehow get drawn into it. And 6 hours later, I'm becoming more depressed. So I realized, yes, there are a lot of things going on as friends, as communities who love to live a life that's full of bliss. And I really suggest if you are sending somebody a YouTube or some information from the internet, if it's very negative, I don't really think this is a time to spread that, okay? Because there are a lot of information. You don't even know if this is true or not. So I try really hard not to send people that's negative YouTube pieces or whatever it is. Because sometimes we feel we know better, but we don't really know anything. So I just wanted that to let go the need to be knowing everything, because we really can't. So that's one tip I would give it to people.
That's great advice. So true. We talk about the matrix and we create our reality, and it's like we have control over ourself. We could take care of our health and our community, but we're putting all our energy into the world, which we have no power over, and it's taking away from what we have power over. So thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so now, Dr. Lou, it's my turn to ask a question.
Okay.
Just relax, and I'm going to go a totally different way here, okay?
Okay.
So I would like to know, and I'm asking you to think back to like before you were 12 years old. Okay. When was the first time you felt different or disconnected from everyone else?
Before 12 years old. I would say when I was working on a math problem, I was actually really good at math when I was younger. And we have a math group and we have a puzzle that comes in. And when I was fully engaged in solving the problem, I felt the world disappeared. So that was actually very brief, but it's definitely clear when I was
That's
focused
amazing.
on that problem.
That's an amazing answer. Okay. My second question.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm so excited about this. This is so great.
Mm-hmm.
Again, before you're 12, when was a time that you caused other people to feel uncomfortable because you were challenging the status quo?
Wow. That is actually a really painful memory. Okay. I was playing piano, and my brother came in and kind of behaving like a bully. And I said something I really regret, because I indicated that he was not much taller than me. And that really hurt his self-esteem. And I remember I was probably 7. And that was so hurtful that he hit me. I caused a trauma. So this event actually came up during my breast cancer healing journey. And I realized, everything it's not caused by one person being mean. There's something that is always triggered, right? So, and then that's what we're seeing today in our life. I don't really have any enemies, but clearly this incident was very, very painful. And then I think it's creating a lot of trauma in our life, growing forward to today. So I think that's something I have to be honest, that when I think back, it was definitely part of my wrongdoing. And I couldn't even imagine I did that because I was 7. So I feel that it was, isn't that interesting? It's like when you're 7, you can say something so mean, right? Like cause self-harm. So anyway, very good question. Very interesting when you ask me that.
And a great answer. I kind of look at how people answer that question, whether they're vulnerable or whether they just try to ignore the question or they give some sort of superficial answer. That was an amazing answer. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for asking that question.
So, yeah, Dr. Liu, I know you love to she's like she like rode her bike up the Himalayan mountains, right? Like, so you're always active. What does your perfect day look like? Balancing work, play, relaxation, time with people, socializing?
Yeah, I was just talking to my husband about it's raining outside and it's cold, but I crave for the moment when we pack our backpack and going into no man's land, even though we're exhausted and cold, and we put down the tarp and we set up our tent. And that is when we lay down in the tent is where I felt the body is well used, right? And we're exhausted and in pain and it's cold. Yet we are so alive. So we're not really eating any gourmet food or anything. We're all eating just some plant-based cooked, soup. But that moment of exhaustion and pain, but your body feels so alive. And that is really one of those things I crave. I can't do it every day, of course, but once in a while, that really is something I look forward to.
Awesome. Thank you. And if you could make one wish to change something in your life, in your whole experience of your life, what would you wish for?
If I can change one thing. And I have the power to change within me, right? Have to be something that I can change. I can't change other people.
It could not other people exactly, either you, but it could be wanting a new like a house or something, just whatever.
It's really for your benefit rather than say, I want world peace. Like, what's a wish you would use on yourself?
Yeah.
I would like to create a community that has I would say maybe like a yurt, like a circular building. There are people once a week will get together to make food, to dance, to read a book together, like a book club, a cooking club, and a dance club all in one building. If I can just go there, visit once a week, I would be very happy.
Awesome.
I think Jason was always trying to show me what he's doing with his group. I think we need to create communities with that place that people feel safe, they feel belong, they feel connected at heart. They actually are together physically. They don't want to, not like on the Zoom. Right. Every community should have a place that the community can all go and feel safe and loved.
I love that idea. I think you just came up with a great idea. Like, you want to start like a bigger community, start with a yurt.
Yes.
Put a yurt on like, like a tiny piece of property that people start to go once a week. 100%. Like the getting together in person is like, that's so funny because back in the day, that's all we had. And now with the technology, that's the most precious thing. We're realizing how precious it is. So I'm with you on that. Thank you, Dr. Lou.
Amazing. So, okay, 2 more questions. And I want you to think back again. So when you were playing piano at 7, what was the cause? This is a cause question. What was the cause? What compelled you to make that comment to your brother?
I felt that he was always breathing on my neck. And I know he was very, very jealous. And there are lots of childhood upbringing that I was not his mother. Okay, so I was just a little sister. And somehow the little sister is just not convenient. So I felt he was always breathing on my neck, right? Always tell me what to do. When I said that, I was really I didn't say that to put him off or to hurt him. I really want him to stop breathing on my neck. I want to get him off my neck. I know, I don't know how that came out. Must be the evilness in me, because we all have this dark shadow. I think when I said that, I think he will be like, get off my neck. Because I try to tell him, I'm doing this, leave me alone. And he won't listen until I said that. He clearly he stopped breathing on my neck, but he also hit me. So right. Anyway, that's the
great answer. Yeah, no, great answer. Now, okay, this is a little imagination. So when you're kind of speaking for the version of you that solved that puzzle. Remember when you said everything just dissolved away and you were just into that puzzle? What would you say today was that girl's mission in life at that moment?
I think my mission in life is solving problems. I see the happiness when, my heart feels so happy when somebody else's life is improved. For example, I just met a couple who both have Parkinson's, okay? And the woman it's very rare. If you Google it, there will be like 25 couple in the United States. Both of them have Parkinson's. And what that tells me is they have a common environmental cause, right? Because they live together for 20 years, they travel together, something in their life affecting very different genetic, because the wife and the husband, don't share 99% of, genes the same. They must be something different. But they both have Parkinson's. And when we started looking at the root cause and started just a few things, the next day, the woman can sit with leg crossed, okay? And she was clearly have less tremor. Now, this is something that absolutely just gave me joy because she is beautiful. She is a very kind person. When her body stopped listening to her, just watching her walking, moving, that pain is like, I can feel that. So when the body is, relaxed, this puzzle start to coming together. There's a joy that you made a difference in somebody else's life. I think that's something a lot of people desire. Even the homeless people, sometimes we feel the homeless people just, for themselves. They can't even take care of themselves. But if they are giving a chance to help another person, they will be valued. They will be changed from the inside, even for a very brief moment, right? I think as human beings, we all share that significance. We made a difference. I think that's something I just want to share with you that I felt really, really good.
Well, thank you. That was all of your answers were awesome. They were excellent. And I don't know, Jason, if you have any more questions, because then I'm going to just start asking Dr. Lou a bunch of questions about other stuff.
No, well, go ahead. I have a few. But
so, Jonathan, you know Jonathan, Jason. He was a guest on the show with the 8 questions. I told him I was actually having a meeting with him and his wife before this, and I said I get to interview Dr. Lou, and they're like, so they all know who you are. So, but Jonathan goes, ask Dr. Lou about protein. What is the deal with protein? I'm hearing all these different things. So Jonathan wants to know, what's the deal with protein?
This is such a great question. Okay. So I stumbled, as soon as I become plant-based 15 years ago, and that's the most common question. It's like, how are you going to get protein? And initially I thought, well, look at the horses. They don't eat any protein. They're very muscular. So the body have a way to make protein. Well, they will say, well, how come, are you getting enough protein, right? And as human being, and of course, during the cancer treatment, and a lot of, nutrition become a big issue. Are you getting enough protein? So one of the most important experiment the U.S. government did is they try to find out how much protein a person need, okay? And they actually got a bunch of medical students. They're all young and healthy. They don't have kidney disease and liver disease or anything. They give them different amount of protein based on their body weight, okay? So every day they have more. And they measure their urine excretion of protein. Because the protein, that once you had too much, it will actually come out of your kidney, okay? So they are measuring at the beginning when you have no protein, there's no protein in the urine, and you eat more until you hit a point, your urine start to get rid of the protein. So you can eat a lot more protein, you just leak it out. But the problem is, anybody, any internal medicine doctor or kidney specialist would tell you, if you have kidney failure, you need to limit the amount of protein, because protein will have toxic effect and burden on the kidney, actually can kill you, right? So kidney is a place get rid of the excessive protein. So now Americans love protein, right? So this experiment formula give you a formula. The formula is you divide it by your body weight. So let's say you have 120 pounds, right? You divide it by 2.2, which will give you the kilogram. So I will be, let's say, 60 kilogram. If you're very active, you do muscle pumping, you exercise every day vigorously, not just walking, okay? You go out bicycling for 3 hours and you do muscle building and all that. Then your maximal amount of protein is your body weight. So it's 60 kilogram, 60 gram, 60 grams, okay? So 60 gram is my maximal. If I'm less active, I need to eat less. For a sedentary person, you divide that 60 kilogram by 2. So I really just need 30 grams. 30 grams of protein is like a piece of tofu, maybe a chicken leg, if you eat chicken. That's it, right? For a sedentary person, not extremely active. If you're extremely active, you can do 60 grams. That's the maximum. That's the general formula for people to protect their kidney from working too hard, right? So if you look at Americans, just average American, okay, they have their scrambled egg, and then at lunch they have, chicken breast sandwich, and then at dinner they have a steak with some steamed vegetable. That amount of protein is about 130 grams at least. So we are over consuming protein in this country. And if you just Google chronic kidney disease, it is absolutely the number one cause of Medicare right now. Because where people are getting older, your kidney are getting smaller, and they're eating the same amount of protein. Not to mention, we have so much heavy metal, which is really hard on the kidney. And then chemicals like glyphosate, Roundup, very hard on the kidney. And all these chemicals have to come out of the kidney, right? So our kidney is already working very hard. We're not drinking enough water. On top of that, we're consuming way too much protein. Average Americans, okay? I'm not talking about plant-based people eating whole food. We do have to pay attention how much protein, because sometimes we don't get enough. So that's my answer to that person. If you are, 150 pounds divided by 2.2, that's your maximum amount of protein if you're active. If you're not active, you need to cut it down furthermore. Half that amount is the essential amount of protein he or she need to consume. I think the formula is pretty accurate because they measure the leakage of the protein from the kidney of a healthy person. Okay, we're not talking about sick person. The sick person doesn't leak out, and that's really hard because you'll see the increase of BUN, you'll see increase of the creatinine, and those are all protein byproduct. When they are increasing, they can be very poisonous to the brain. They can be poisonous to the cardiovascular system. I mean, they're just metabolic junks. So I really think everybody need to calculate their protein requirement.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Lu.
Yeah.
So tell me if I'm correct about this. I mean, I checked with AI. So human breast milk has the lowest amount of protein and like the highest amount of carbohydrates than any other animal. So think about it. When does a human need the most protein? Protein's related to growth. When you're a baby.
Yes.
And the human breast milk is the highest. You could look this up. Is the highest in carbs and resistant starches, HMO, human milk oligosaccharides. So it's right there. We're really meant to eat a lot of carbs. And think about it. How everybody's on this low carb diet. Carbs always come with fiber. So so eating plant foods, berries and fruits and whole grains and beans. You're getting the protein. If you eat beans every day, you're going to hit your protein requirements. But you're also getting the fiber, you're getting the polyphenols, and you're getting the carbs, which our brains love.
Yes. So, yeah. You know what? That is such a good information because I was not breastfed, okay? Because my mom is a cardiologist. She's just too busy. So I know there are lots of problems without breastfeeding, being breastfed. And what she fed me is basically rice milk, okay? I grew up on rice milk. Sometimes I thought maybe that's why my brain was not so the greatest. Rice milk, Google it. It has 0 protein, okay? And I actually grew up okay, I think. I was the top of class in medical school.
I was going to say, you have one of the
what brain pump you got?
People I know.
Yeah. Exactly. So I remember there is a protein synthase that the liver can use carbohydrates and make protein. So that's
I knew that your body can turn protein into carbs. I didn't know your body can turn carbs into protein.
yeah. Well, I think
wow.
that's how the horses did it.
You see this? You see, John. This is how her and I so that's another clue. Like the human breast milk is loaded with HMOs, human milk
Wow.
oligosaccharides. Those feed the bacteria. So it goes more and more. Our health is so dependent on the microbiome more than any other species.
Yes.
We have the most diverse microbiome out of any other species, and the human breast milk has the most of these sugars and undigestible sugars, which are basically fiber.
Yeah. I think that's interesting because I'm still like every time I talk to a patient and he will say, I'm eating better. And I said, what do you mean? I'm eating less carb. And I was like, I don't know where to start. I was like, okay, well, that means eating healthier is eating less carb. That is, I think that's really a big mistake. I'm so sorry.
I'm sure you get this too, Dr. Lou. Like I hear from people, I'm not feeling good. I don't have enough energy. I have a headache. I think I need more protein. I don't think it's always protein is good. Carb is bad. It's always the same thing. But you know what, so Dr. Lou, can you share, John has a really intelligent audience, a community. Can you share about environmental medicine and why these toxins are so bad? Because you are like, the world's expert on this, and it's such a big problem. And again, everybody's talking about protein and carbs. Meanwhile, we're just being pumped with toxins. But the good news is there is a solution to this, which very few people know. People say detox. Again, Dr. Lou is the physiologist. She understands the real science, and she worked with hundreds, thousands of patients, test them before and after. So she has the evidence as well.
Yes. Okay. So there are basically 3 groups of environmental toxins. So in the general detox arena, people just talk about toxins as if there's one toxin. There's actually chemical toxins, over 80,000 of chemicals, man-made chemicals, are directly used for human. Okay, what that means? Clothing, cookware, food additive, pesticides, herbicides, fungicides, something we are directly consuming. Okay, fire retardants in the furnitures, in the homes. So there's 80,000 of them. Now, 5 million chemicals have been registered in the United States, like 10 years ago. Well, I don't know how many million now. So we're facing more and more chemicals, right? Heavy metal, there's a few of them, the 4 of them that the FDA clearly said it is related to human health is mercury, cadmium, arsenic, and lead, okay? Those 4 are accepted by the United States government. It is very detrimental to health, and there's plenty of evidence. So heavy metal initially was 4, and now we are seeing cadmium, cesium, gadolinium, very rare heavy metals tested in people's body. And we found out that could be, I'm pretty sure, is related to the industrialization of digging minerals. Okay, when you dig mineral, if you go to a Superfund site, Butte County, Montana, you see this huge mine and this toxic place that they have to seal it. They have to have a skull and then the bone. Because when you are digging into the earth, you start to uncover the heavy metals that the human body have not been experiencing, naturally. We don't dig that deep, right? So that is called the fracking. Fracking and Superfund, those are sites that we have chemicals that's unusual, and then the water is being used in organic farms. California is in a drought, so we have organic kale discovered to have cadmium and gadolinium. So this earth crust pollution with food from all over the world is we are seeing an increase of heavy metal pollution. Heavy metal pollution directly affect your bone, affect your brain. And the problem with heavy metal is once it gets to your tissue and binds to the protein, it becomes difficult to come out. So heavy metal detoxification, I would say anybody need to start now. It doesn't matter how old you are, because we are living in a much more challenging environment now. Now, if you're 80, 90 years old, I think it's kind of late. I just have to be honest. So if you already have full-blown Parkinson's, you have heavy metal, the effect of detox may not be there. So I would just be honest with you how much I'm observing that. But if you're young, if you're midlife, 30, 20, you really need to start, because neurodegenerative diseases are diseases of the Parkinson's movement disorder. Bruce Willis is one of the example, right? He has all the money in the world, and he now can't remember. I think he has a neurodegenerative disease is not reversible. Parkinson's, and then Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's disease is disease that we so often see in our parents, right? And when they start to lose memory, we felt really hopeless. I think that's why we need to do something. When I see my mother, 97 years old, yes, I want to help her, but I want to remind myself, I'm going to be there, right? I'm going to be there. We are all going to be there. It's not somebody else's business. It is our business to get rid of the heavy metals, chemicals in our body. Now, the third one is called mold. I just came back from Hawaii. And, of course, Hawaii is the water, there's moisture, and you guys are in Florida. You clearly have more mold challenge than people live in the desert. But people live in the desert, sometimes we have very tight seal of the window. We don't open the window very often. Most people just live in this house. And mold does not like flowing air, okay? So if you open your window, have the air flow through the house, mold does not release toxins, okay? They don't grow like out of control. But in a moisture condition, the mold tend to be, more harmful. But mold is a very old species. It doesn't just produce toxins all the time. It produces toxins when it's being challenged. So one of the things we found is electromagnetic frequencies like cell phones. What they did the experiment is they actually collect the mold petri dish, and they collect their toxins in different chamber. And then one of them, they put the cell phone buzzing the whole time. And they measure the toxins released in the cell phone treated mold dish is 600 times higher than the mold dish that didn't have the cell phone irritation. So high frequency electromagnetic frequencies, very, very high, they're above the Sherman frequency, is becoming very threatening to the mold. And that's how they release toxins. It's kind of like the skunk. The skunk doesn't just walk around releasing toxins because, rattlesnake, it takes a lot of time and energy to do that. So mold only produce a lot of toxins when they're being threatened. So if you are suspecting a mold situation, you don't just go get bleach, bleaching it, because you're releasing more toxins. Then leave them alone, have the professionals deal with it. 3 groups of toxins are very real. Unfortunately, all of them are neurotoxins and endocrine toxins and immune toxins. So when these 3 systems are not happy, neurotoxin, immune, and endocrine. And now I'm going to talk about the cardiovascular toxicity, metabolic toxicity, because it actually can be related to stroke and heart attack in inner cities. They have found, air pollution directly related to the increase of coagulation, platelet aggregation, and people can have a stroke when they're driving. We have many, many cases. A healthy person driving on freeways every day, and boom, one day have a pulmonary embolism and died. These are people, they're doctors. You know, you would think they know everything, right? So environmental medicine is number one for me to pursue. So whoever have a symptom, I just like, stop. Let's take a look at your genes. Let's take a look at your environment. What your environmental exposure will be reflected by the urine test. And it's not cheap. It's, you know, insurance doesn't cover it right now, but it's something we have to do, because I've seen patients had gallbladder removed in their 30s, and in their 40s have breast cancer. In their 60s, they have a movement disorder. They can't turn their head. And now they have a deep dopamine implants in their head because they can now move their head. You know, it's one thing after another. And then when I collect her urine, she was like, oh my God, Dr. Lu, I've been spraying Roundup 1 month per year, every single year since I moved here, which is in her 30s, right? So the environmental toxin was never exposed. So she keep having these things, right? So for me, it's fibroid. When I had my fibroid, I tested my urine and my BPA was very high. My biggest lesson is I only did 90-day detox, then I forget about it. I thought I was really healthy. I only have BPA and glyphosate. I'm way better than anybody else. But by the time I got breast cancer, my BPA was sky high. So again, you cannot ignore some of times the toxins could be your biggest enemy that you need to discover the exposure and get rid of it. So when you do that, your body just function better, right? No matter what you do, stem cell, peptide, hormone replacement, you know, cosmetic. We have all these, you know, Ben Johnson, you know, he has a lot of money. He does all this anti-aging, but the anti-aging doesn't work if your body is loaded with toxins. And I have thousands of cases I can share with you because I'm an old lady now.
Well, thank you so much
like
for that.
Jason, yeah,
I just want to say one comment is that the solution is what you said in the beginning. Like, we need to create non-toxic environments. We need to create places villages where we can live, where no glyphosate, right? And we could no emotional toxins either, right? So to me, that's the only way. Right now, we got to do these testing and we got to do our best. But I see in 2 years, I feel like we're gonna have no choice but to create these villages.
Oh my God, I love these villages. It's such a great vision. Mm-hmm. Yes.
When Jason told me your story, you know, and we learned that in season 1, I have a lot of friends who are doing a lot of different food stuff. And it's always, this is good for you. No, it's bad for you. This is good for you. And when Jason taught me about what you've done, I told all these people, I go, you know, there's somebody who figured out the first step that everybody's missing. And it's this toxin thing. It's if you don't account for the toxins, and I'm a scientist and an engineer, and I run tests all the time. You know, it's like all your tests are worthless if you don't understand if there's toxins in your respondents or not.
Exactly.
So to me, I think you hit the real first cause, and everybody else their data is all over the place because they're not accounting for your first cause. My second point is do you give talks or do you have videos on your website? Because like I could listen to you talk. I just think it would be like you go out speaking. Like, do you do any of that? What do you do?
So I do with small groups. That's actually a really good question because after our environmental retreat, we have 2 women raise their hand. They're like, Dr. Lu, you got to go talk to a lot of people. And I was like, oh, yes. I am not very good with computer, and I'm not very good with like going on TED Talk. I can if I get to go. I do professional engagement a lot. We talk about the program, and but I agree. I think right now we should talk about it because I want to create a community, and it's called Detox to Thrive. And in this community, we'll have coaches, we'll have medical practitioners, we'll have videos and website, the webinars that's recorded, because I recorded over 64 webinars on gotowebinar.com, going through the witch toxin, neurotoxins, heavy metals and chemicals and obesogen, how people get big. And even though they don't eat anything, they exercise. I do want to put together a program that more and more people are aware and start to take little steps, not overwhelming, just eat organic food first, drink more water, filter their water, little things, and make a huge difference. Like I said, if it make no difference, it's probably not worth doing. I am seeing huge differences. Like I described, a few days, the person can have less tremor. Not because the toxin came out, it's because the way we detox actually balance your immune system and lower the inflammation of the brain. And that's why it's like people can feel the clarity quicker. So anyway, I'm totally in for, giving a big talk. But I think if now we know how to measure them, how to look at the gene, we make it more scientific. We follow up. If the toxin didn't come out, we look at the environment. Maybe the person was living next to a golf course that's constantly getting sprayed. So, it's something we can do something about. I think the most anxiety provoking thing is to talk about it and not do anything. So I said action is the number one solution to fear and anxiety. So if we can take actions a little bit, and have that community in my vision, I think it will be really nice.
Right. This is a complicated field, though. And obviously, you know what you're talking about and you have an approach and everything. And you communicate this so clearly. That's the key thing, is there's a lot of people who understand this, but you let them talk and then you get more confused. So I think that's like the big thing, is like you communicate so clearly, and I'm sure everybody's watching this is getting what you're saying. That's why it's like, boy, you should be out there talking more.
Yes, I love to. So I just started writing a book called Unmasking. It's really focused on so unmasking how this breast cancer journey healed and cracked me open, right? I think unmasking is the same as environmental medicine. The first step is to look at what's coming out of your body. I think it's a very similar idea, get the thing out and look at the root cause. I think the emotional thing is same too. I'm getting a lot of phone calls and emails and say, Dr. Lu, you look so healthy and happy. I want to be your friend. I want to, I said, this is now the dating site, right? This is a professional site, right? Because there's so much loneliness in the world. I really do. And people can't communicate. They're dating and suddenly they're arguing. And then the easy thing is to run away from each other. But they find out that desire to be together in a safe place, and why there's so much reactions. There is a root cause. Perhaps we're reacting to childhood trauma that was not resolved. We must come together and release that. I think that's the root cause. It's huge. It is lots of work, but once you get over it, it's no longer triggering you. Won't that be so nice? Then you can be.
Well, it's funny that you mention it, because John has the best solution to triggers. He literally is a master of the unconscious. So you got to check out some of his stuff.
But that's why I understand her immediately, because everything you're saying about the physical body is what I'm doing with people mentally and emotionally, to the point that the one thing you keep saying over and over again is everybody's unique.
Right.
So what works for you might not work for you. And that's what you do, is you understand the person and understand their unique conditions and what's going on. Like you said, with the 2 Parkinsons, like, okay, right. What's really going on here that's not going on somewhere else. It's everything you just said, mentally, emotionally, what's unique to this person. You can't just say everybody do this, everybody take this pill, or everybody act this way. It is understanding uniqueness. So that's why we're doing exactly the same thing in two different fields. That's why I feel like I get her right away. But also, she is administrator teacher because the reason she solves the problem is not because she likes solving problems. It's because she's trying to help people make progress in their life.
Yes.
That's the administrator. That's what she said early on. That's how I know she's administrator teacher.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
I
This
can't
is
wait
great.
to work together with you guys.
Same here.
Yeah, it's inevitable. And what was I going to say? I had one more question for Dr. Lou, but I guess we could kind of wrap it up.
We'll have her on again for sure.
Okay. And when you come to I was going to say, Dr. Lou, don't worry about. I told John the same thing. Don't worry about the technology. I could take care of any of that stuff, and maybe making a program, like an 8-week program, like you said, not the individual stuff, something general, like you said, eat organic, like 8 video series that they could watch. Like I've built like my food program. I think that'd be a great thing for you. This way, if people come to you before they work with you, even before they get tested, it's like here, and then they can pay a small amount to take
a
the
little
test.
bit at a time. Yeah.
And then you see who's
Let's do it.
Awesome.
Yes.
Amazing.
So thank you so much, Dr. Lou. It's great to see you.
Great to see you too. You both look great, and John has wonderful glowing of the pinkness. Very healthy liver.
That's good to know. Thank you. I so enjoyed this talk. This exceeded my expectations, and I had pretty high expectations. So
I was going to say, I've never seen John so excited over a guest, and we've had some awesome guests on already.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Let's stay in touch, okay?
Absolutely.
Okay. Have a beautiful day.
Bye.
Bye.